Right. So today we're going to like really dive deep into confidence.
Ooh, fun.
I feel like it's something we all kind of, struggle with a little bit here and there.
Yeah, for sure.
And, maybe have those moments where we feel like, oh, like, I don't know if I can do this,
Yeah, absolutely. Those moments of self-doubt for sure.
Totally. And so we've got a ton of material about like how our minds really influence how confident we are.
Okay, cool.
And I think our goal today should be to like extract the key takeaways from that.
Yeah, sounds good.
So that everyone listening can kind of like fast track their understanding of how to like get that confidence boost.
Love it.
And one of the most interesting things is like right off the bat, we realize confidence isn't something like you're born with or you're not.
Yeah, it's not like you just automatically have it or you don't.
Yeah, it's not like, some people just win the confidence lottery.
Right, totally.
It's more about like what you go through and how you kind of learn to see those experiences.
It's like the journey shapes you.
Yeah. Exactly. And the really cool thing is like once you realize that you can actually like make changes to how you think and actually like seriously see a difference in your confidence.
So it's like you can actually train your brain to be more confident.
Totally.
Yep.
So before we get too far, let's like really define what we mean by confidence.
Yeah, good point.
What are we actually aiming for here?
Yeah, so confidence, it's not about being like totally fearless. Right.
It's not like you're never scared of anything.
No, definitely not. And it doesn't mean you're guaranteed to succeed at everything you try.
Right. It's not like a magic bullet.
No, but it's like this deep down belief in yourself.
Oh, okay.
Like, you can handle whatever comes your way.
I like that.
It's not about knowing the outcome will always be perfect.
Right.
But it's knowing you have what it takes to deal with things, even if they don't go exactly as planned.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So you can cope and adapt.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we talk a lot about mindset too.
Oh, yeah. Mindset's huge.
So what's like the core understanding of what that even means?
Okay. So think of mindset. Like it's all the beliefs and attitudes that you have that kind of like shape how you see the world.
Oh.
Like how you make sense of everything. Like one of the sources we looked at said it's like the operating system of your mind.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's like the software that's running everything.
Yeah. And just like you update the software on your phone, you can also like update and improve your mindset.
Okay. So it's not set in stone.
No, not at all. And this is where it gets really interesting with confidence.
Okay.
Because confidence is actually way more connected to your mindset than to like any skills or talents you might naturally have.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Like imagine two people who've spent the same amount of time learning something new, like playing the guitar.
Okay.
One person might be super excited to practice and play for people.
Okay.
Like they believe they can get better and they enjoy the music.
Yeah.
But the other person, even though they might be just as good technically, they could be filled with self-doubt and anxiety.
Okay.
Always focusing on their mistakes.
Right. So it's not about their actual ability on the guitar.
Exactly. It's their mindset that's different.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really good example.
Yeah.
So then how does that actually like, play out in how we do things and how we see ourselves?
Yeah. So this is where this psychologist, Carol Dweck, comes in.
Okay.
Have you heard of her?
Yeah, vaguely.
Okay. So she's done all this amazing work on growth mindset.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard of that.
Yeah. And it's mentioned a lot in the stuff we've been looking at. So basically she says, if you believe your abilities are fixed,
okay,
like you're either good at something or you're not, that's a fixed mindset.
Okay.
But if you believe you can develop your abilities through effort and learning, that's a growth mindset.
Okay. So one is like static and one's like you can always grow.
Exactly. And her research shows that people with a growth mindset, they tend to be more successful and feel better about themselves even when they face challenges.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So the key takeaway for our listeners is when you hit a setback, how you interpret it, like is it a failure or a chance to learn?
Yeah.
That's going to determine whether your confidence grows or shrinks.
Okay.
So choosing to see it as a learning opportunity, that's like the fast track to building resilience.
Wow. Okay. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
So if we're working on having a growth mindset,
Yes.
we're not just like changing our attitude.
Yeah.
We're actually like changing how our brains support our confidence.
Exactly. It's like you're creating new pathways in your brain
Oh, wow.
that lead to more confident thinking.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like strengthening your confidence muscles.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know mindset and confidence are like super connected,
Yes.
let's get practical.
Okay.
What are some of those mindset shifts that can actually make us feel more confident?
Yeah. So we already touched on that first one.
Yeah.
Going from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
Right.
So just to recap, a fixed mindset is believing your intelligence and talents are basically fixed. Like you have a certain amount and that's it. But a growth mindset is believing those qualities can change and grow through effort learning and perseverance.
Okay.
So, we all face challenges and setbacks.
Right.
How does this difference in mindset affect how we react to those?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So in a fixed mindset, failure often feels like proof that you're not good enough.
Right.
Like it's personal and it says something about who you are.
But you're just not capable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But with a growth mindset, failure is seen as temporary.
Okay.
It's valuable information. And a step towards growth.
Okay.
It's not about judging yourself. It's about analyzing what happened and figuring out how to do things differently next time.
I see.
One of the sources had this great story about someone who was terrified of public speaking, and they finally overcame it by shifting from thinking I'm just not a natural speaker to believing they could get better with practice.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so instead of being limited by this idea that they weren't naturally gifted, they focused on developing their skills.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it worked.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so our second mindset shift is choosing to see failure as feedback instead of like a personal attack.
Oh, yeah, this is so important for confidence.
Totally. So like think about when you try something and it doesn't work out, what do you tell yourself? Do you say like, oh, I messed up, I'm not good enough? That's like so harsh.
It is. It's like you're labeling yourself as a failure.
Yeah, totally. But what if you said something like, okay, that didn't work how I expected. Yeah. What can I learn from this? How can I try again differently?
Exactly. That's like turning it into a learning opportunity.
Yeah. You're not just like a victim of the outcome.
Right. You're in control. And the sources we looked at, they all emphasized that really successful people, they don't avoid failure.
Right.
They just see it differently. It's data, it's information to help them improve.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection of their worth.
That's so powerful.
It is.
Okay, so mindset shift number 3.
Yes.
Stop comparing ourselves to others and instead focus on our own progress.
This is so hard with social media.
Right, because it's like everyone's showing their highlight reel.
Exactly.
And we're like, oh, I'm not doing that.
Right. You're comparing yourself to this like curated version of someone's life.
Totally. And it's like confidence kryptonite.
It is. It can totally destroy your confidence.
Yeah. And the thing is, you're never seeing the full picture.
Right. Everyone has their own struggles.
Yeah.
So the best thing for your confidence is to focus on yourself.
Okay.
Like, are you making progress toward your own goals? Are you learning and growing?
Yeah.
That's what matters.
So it's like your own personal development is the benchmark, not some like impossible standard.
Right. And it's important to celebrate your wins.
Yeah.
No matter how small they seem.
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mindset shift number 4.
Okay. Hit me.
This is going from perfectionism to excellence.
Oh, yes. This is a big one.
They sound similar.
They do.
But they're actually really different.
Yes. Perfectionism is all about like all or nothing.
Okay.
It has to be perfect or it's worthless.
Right.
And that creates so much pressure.
Yeah.
And it can actually stop you from doing anything.
Because you're so scared of not being perfect.
Exactly. You're paralyzed by the fear of failure.
Yeah. Okay.
But excellence is about doing your best with what you have right now. It's about striving for high quality.
Yeah.
But accepting that mistakes are part of the process.
Okay.
And that you're always learning and improving.
So it's like a journey.
It is. It's not about being flawless from the start.
Yeah.
Perfectionism is all about the outcome being perfect. But excellence is about the process of getting better.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. And perfectionism can actually hurt your confidence.
Okay.
Because you're so scared of messing up
that
you don't even try.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But excellence, it encourages you to be vulnerable, to learn from your mistakes and grow.
Yeah.
And that's how you build real confidence.
So it's like embracing the messiness.
Yeah, totally.
Okay. And our 5th mindset shift.
Okay.
This one's really interesting.
Tell me.
It's about going from feeling like I have to do something to I choose to do this.
Oh, that's so subtle, but powerful.
Right. It's like a tiny change in words.
Yeah.
But it makes a huge difference.
It does, because when you feel forced to do something, it creates resentment and you feel powerless.
Right, like you don't have any control.
Yeah, exactly. But when you reframe it as a choice, you take back your power.
Like you're in the driver's seat.
Yes.
There was a great example in one of the sources about someone who had to give a presentation.
Okay.
And they changed their thinking from, I have to give this presentation,
Yeah.
to I choose to give this presentation because it aligns with my goals.
Love it.
And it totally changed how they felt about it.
Yeah, because now it's purposeful.
Yes.
You're not just a passive participant.
Right. You're actively shaping your experience.
Exactly. And that boosts your confidence.
Okay. So we've got these 5 mindset shifts.
Yes.
So like a great framework.
Yeah.
But how do we actually use them in our lives?
Right. Good question.
What are some things we can do every day?
Yeah. So one really effective technique is called thought auditing.
Okay. What's that?
So it's basically taking a few minutes each day to just pay attention to your thoughts.
Okay.
Especially the ones about your abilities, your performance, and your self-worth.
So like becoming aware of what's going on in our heads.
Exactly. Listen to that inner voice.
Yeah.
What's it saying? Are you hearing a lot of fixed mindset statements like, I'm not good at this? Are you comparing yourself to others a lot?
Right.
Are you being super perfectionistic? Just noticing those patterns is the first step to changing them.
Because you can't change what you're not aware of.
Exactly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So once we start to notice those unhelpful thoughts, what do we actually do about them?
That's where reframing comes in.
Okay.
So you challenge those negative thoughts and rephrase them in a more positive and helpful way.
Okay, so like, give me some examples.
Sure. So instead of saying, I totally failed that task, you could say, that task didn't go as planned. What can I learn from this?
Okay, I like that.
Or instead of saying, everyone else is so much better than me, you could say, everyone's on their own journey, and I'm focusing on my progress.
So it's like choosing to see things in a more encouraging way.
Exactly.
Okay. What else can we do?
Another great technique is keeping a confidence journal.
Okay. What is that?
So every day, take a few minutes to write down one thing you did well, one thing you learned, and one thing you want to improve on tomorrow.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it helps you focus on your growth and accomplishments. And it reinforces that learning is an ongoing process.
Yeah, I love that.
And if you look back at your journal over time,
you
can actually see how much progress you've made.
Oh, that's so motivating.
It is.
Okay, and we talked about catastrophizing.
Oh, yeah. That could be a real confidence killer.
Totally. How do we deal with that?
So there's this exercise called, what's the worst that could happen?
Okay.
So when you're feeling anxious about something, take a moment and write down the absolute worst case scenario.
Okay.
And often just getting those fears out of your head makes them seem less scary.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
But don't stop there.
Okay.
The next step is to brainstorm what you would do if that worst case scenario actually happened.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. So even if the worst does happen, you have a plan.
Right.
And that makes you feel more confident.
You're not just like passively afraid.
Exactly. You're prepared.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And we mentioned visualization earlier.
Oh, yeah. Visualization is super powerful.
So how can we actually use that to boost our confidence?
So lots of successful people like athletes and business leaders, they use visualization to mentally prepare for challenges.
Okay.
So basically you close your eyes and imagine yourself successfully handling the situation with confidence and ease.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And by doing this repeatedly,
Yeah.
you're training your brain to respond confidently in real life.
So it's like a mental rehearsal.
Exactly.
Okay, so
It helps to reduce anxiety and build your self-belief.
amazing.
Yeah. And the key with all of these techniques is to do them consistently.
Right. It's not like a one-time fix.
No, it's like any skill.
Yeah.
You have to practice regularly to see results.
Okay. So mindset shifts and these practical techniques, they're like our roadmap to confidence. But there can be some roadblocks along the way.
Right. Sometimes it's not easy.
Where? What are some of those obstacles?
So one big one is those deeply ingrained beliefs that we often pick up in childhood. Like maybe you were told, don't get too big for your boots.
Oh, yeah.
Or who do you think you are?
Right. Those messages can really stick with you.
They do. They become part of your subconscious.
And they affect how you see yourself.
Exactly. And trying to change those beliefs, it can feel really uncomfortable.
Betraying yourself.
Yeah. Or your family or your upbringing.
That's so interesting.
It takes a lot of effort to challenge those narratives.
Okay.
But it's worth it.
Yeah.
Another big obstacle is the impact of past experiences,
Yeah.
like failures or rejection.
Right. Those can really hurt.
They can. And our brains are wired to remember painful experiences.
Oh, why?
So it's a protection mechanism
Okay.
to avoid getting hurt again.
Uh-huh.
So past failures can make us afraid to take risks.
Because we don't want to feel that pain again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can hold us back from building confidence.
Right.
And sometimes low confidence can actually serve a purpose.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it sounds strange.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like a secondary gain.
What does that mean?
So, for example, low confidence might keep you in your comfort zone where it feels safe, or it might lower other people's expectations of you,
Okay.
which can feel less pressure.
So it's like a way of protecting ourselves.
Yeah, but it can also hold you back.
Right.
And then there are social and cultural factors.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Different cultures value different things.
Right.
Some cultures emphasize humility more than confidence.
Mm-hmm.
And in some social groups, being too confident can be seen negatively.
Totally.
And our sources specifically pointed out that women and people from marginalized groups, they often face social penalties for being confident.
Right? Like, it's not fair.
So it's important to be aware of these factors.
Absolutely. So given all these obstacles, how do we actually overcome them?
So the first step is self-compassion.
Okay.
Be kind to yourself. Your current mindset is a result of your experiences.
Right.
So don't judge yourself.
Okay.
And then gradually start challenging those limiting beliefs.
How do we do that?
Put yourself in low-risk situations where you can gather evidence that contradicts those beliefs.
Okay.
Like little successes that chip away at the negative self-talk.
So like proving those beliefs wrong.
Exactly. And it's also really helpful to surround yourself with people who have a growth mindset.
Oh, yeah. Because their energy is contagious.
Their positivity and encouragement can really help.
So like find your cheerleaders.
Exactly.
And what if you're really struggling?
Yeah, sometimes it's tough.
Like those deep-seated issues or past traumas.
Right.
What then?
Then it's a good idea to seek professional help.
Okay.
A therapist or a coach can give you tools and support.
That's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of concepts, but I think it's really helpful to see how this actually works in real life.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any examples?
Yeah, so one of our sources talked about being afraid to speak up in meetings.
Oh, yeah, that's relatable.
Right. And this person realized
Yeah.
that they were putting too much pressure on themselves to sound brilliant every time.
Right. Like you have to have the perfect answer.
Yeah, exactly. So they shifted their mindset to just focusing on contributing their perspective.
Okay.
And that took the pressure off.
Yeah.
And they started speaking up more. And they got positive feedback.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah. And their confidence grew.
So it's like a snowball effect.
It is.
Okay.
Cool. What else?
Another example is about someone who is terrified of rejection in relationships.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
It is. And they realize that they were interpreting rejection as a sign that they were unlovable.
Ouch. Yeah. That's a painful belief.
It is. So they shifted their thinking.
To see rejection as just information about compatibility.
Okay.
Like maybe those two people just weren't a good fit.
Right.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
It's not a reflection of their worth.
That's so important.
It is.
Yeah.
And that shift gave them the confidence to be more authentic and vulnerable.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah.
And we got some great stories from our listeners, too.
Oh, yeah. We love hearing from our listeners.
So one person said that they were a perfectionist.
Okay.
And it was stopping them from starting their own business.
Wow.
They were so scared of not being good enough.
Yeah.
But then they shifted to focusing on excellence, on the process of learning and improving.
Yeah.
And that gave them the courage to finally launch their business.
That's amazing.
It is.
And another listener shared about their fitness journey.
Oh,
they were constantly comparing themselves to others and feeling bad.
Yeah, that's so easy to do.
It is. But they shifted to focusing on their own progress and celebrating their achievements. And that completely changed their experience.
Wow. So it's like these mindset shifts.
Yeah.
They really make a difference in all areas of life.
They do, whether it's your career, your relationships, your health.
Yeah.
How you think about yourself really matters.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, let's recap those 5 key mindset shifts.
Love it.
Okay, number 1, cultivate a growth mindset.
Yes.
Believe you can learn and grow.
Number 2, See failure as feedback,
Yes.
not a personal attack.
Number 3, focus on your own progress.
Yes.
Not comparing yourself to others. Number 4, strive for excellence.
Yes.
Let go of perfectionism. And number 5, choose your actions.
Yes.
Turn I have to into I choose to.
Beautiful.
And remember, true confidence isn't about never feeling fear.
Right.
It's about knowing you can handle those feelings and face challenges. And it's not something you're born with.
No.
It's a skill you can develop.
Exactly.
So what mindset shifts resonated with you today?
Yeah. What are you still working on?
Share your thoughts in the comments.
We love hearing from you.
And as you continue on your journey,
Yes.
remember this.
What's that?
Your mindset shapes your reality.
Ooh, that's good.
So choose a mindset that empowers you.
Love it.